Hey everyone, we're back for another ACOTAR episode. So if you have not read A Court of Thorns and Roses, there is going to be a whole lot of spoilers. Throughout this whole mini series, we're talking theories and things that if you haven't read the books, it will spoil a lot of things for you. But if you don't care, you're very welcome to listen to us. Hey, book babes, welcome back to Two Girls, One TBR, your chaotic book besties here to wreck your reading list one morally gray man at a time. I'm Rebecca, still living for the villains, monsters, and magical artifacts that make our dark fantasies delicious. You can find me over at Azrella Reads on Instagram, and I'm still, again, obsessing over spicy romantasy, morally gray heroes, and the villains we secretly love to hate.
And I'm Heather. I'm usually on not the mini series of ACOTAR, but I'm filling in for Chelsea today. So I'm ready to deep dive into Prythian. It's been a little bit since I've read these, so I'm kind of excited to get my brain working again on this. And yeah, you can find me at Kindle Me Reading on Instagram and TikTok.
All right. Now, of course, now Heather wasn't here the last time, but now when the last episode when Chelsea was here, we were talking different things. And these are some of the things that we had to look up after we recorded because we just didn't have the answers or we just couldn't remember. There was a stranger at Starfall, and that's in the Court of Mist and Fury. And he's never been identified by Sarah. She's never specifically said who this person is. All we know is he was a tall man with his face in shadow. He clasped Cassian's arm, and Azrael stood beside him. He's not named or explained. The reference, again, we don't know who it is. Now, what people are thinking, they're thinking it could have been Eris, but I just can't really see Eris coming
I
to the Night Court to be
No.
there during that. The scene placement. Okay, this is when it says it happens. The moment occurs during Starfall celebration, and it's around page 430, it said. Farah notices Cassian being called by someone down to that patio area they have. And let's see here. But it says the narrative moves on without revealing his identity, his role, or significance. Do we think that is a person that's significant, or is it just something that Sarah put in that we just don't know? What's
Yeah,
your thought?
I think it's just some maybe, I was thinking is like one of his soldiers or something like
Could
that,
be.
because he's in charge of things. Now I don't think like an Illyrian person would come all the way out there, but if there was something that needed to be, you know, done,
And
yeah.
like people said, like some people were thinking it could be Eris because of his, shadowed face, gleaming teeth. That kind of is kind of like what Eris,
Yeah.
his look. Then one person or some people were saying it could have been an agent of Koschei. Uh, then
Yeah.
another one, like it was just what you said, an Illyrian commander or an ally,
Yeah.
or it's foreshadowing something that we don't know about yet.
Yeah, but he's familiar with this person. So I think if it's Eris, like he would not be like, "Hey buddy, like how's it
True.
going?" Like bumping fists kind of thing. So it's got to be someone he knows, he's familiar with. He's giving him a handshake, you said. So I
It's someone he knows, yes, well,
does
because he
Cassian
wouldn't
have
just
other
go up.
friends other than the Bat Boys? Like maybe it's a friend? Uh
It's just a little random interesting thing.
yeah,
But
I don't remember that part of the read at all. That's
well,
interesting.
well, some people said, but maybe like Sarah, she was going to expand on this person, but then she
Okay.
abandoned it, possibly.
Yeah.
But I don't think she ever does anything unintentional. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
everything is very planned. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know. We will see. Now,
Hmm.
this does involve Eris, and this is something that's interesting. And I had forgotten about this. You may have forgotten about this. In A Court of Silver Flames, it's mentioned that the prison was once a palace carved into the mountain back when it served as Dust Court. Do you remember them saying that the prison was a palace?
I think Amryn says that, doesn't she?
She may have said it as well.
I think it's her because she was talking about how the land used to be a lot different than it was because that's how old she is, and, like,
She's old.
yeah, and how she came here and stuff was like, she fell through the sky and the portals and
We know
things
she
like
came
that.
through a rip in the
Yeah.
world, and we figure she's around, I think the last thing we figured she was around 15,000 is what we're guessing. That's old. I don't know. It is, but see, I don't remember them talking about it that it was a palace. I think in this upcoming book, I think the prison is going to play a significant role because it's the third place. Because,
Yeah.
Feyre did the under the mountain thing. Nesta did the other mountain with her trials.
The prison, right?
Was I don't well, yeah, she was in the prison, but
Oh,
but
the
she
in-between?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe Elaine may be going to the prison. There might
Okay.
be something
Yeah, because
with
there's
it.
3 mountains, right? Like, 3
Th
main ones,
There's the one
like
that's
the
under the
stars.
mountain. That's where Amaranth's lair was. There's Ramel or Ramiel. Is that how you pronounce it?
Uh,
We don't pronounce anything correct. That's
Never.
the sacred mountain of the blood right. That's the part that Nesta did.
Mhm, mhm.
And then the prison is described as one of the 3 palaces carved into the sacred mountains. What is it?
Mm.
It's very interesting. But I don't know. It's just something interesting. It's just something
Yeah.
interesting to think about. Now, this is something else that Chelsea and I couldn't remember. There was a part in there because I always get this confused. And then if you play the video game or you read the books of The Witcher, they talk about Wild Hunt.
Mhm.
There's Wild Hunt
Oh,
in
and then
ACOTAR
there's, like,
too.
yeah.
We were confused, and I couldn't remember. But it's mentioned in A Court of Thorns and Roses as a force of ancient Daglin, I guess. Is that how you pronounce
Uh,
it? We don't
don't
pronounce
ask
anything
me.
correct. We pronounce nothing correct.
Nothing
Uh,
correctly.
we're gonna go with Daglin because I have no idea. But they're who are connected to the Asteri from Crescent City, used
Mhm.
to oppress
I was gonna
Prythian.
say, once you get into Crescent City, you hear more about these people, and they kinda connect.
Because I have book 1 done of Crescent City. As soon as I'm
Yeah.
done with the Legacy series, the last book of that, I'm going back into Crescent City, going for book 2.
Okay.
But now it says the island of Cretea
Katea.
was concealed by a powerful illusion magic to hide
Mhm.
it from Jurian and the King of Hybern. Draken, that's you remember Draken, that's the one with Miriam, was not contacted, but he heard about the War of Hybern and he sailed to Prythian on his own. So he must, even though their island and everything is hidden, because even Rhysand didn't even remember they went there, and it just looked like it was abandoned.
Yeah.
So he must send spies and whatnot to know what's going on in the world, even though they are remaining hidden. And then they met, of course, the queen and Feyre's father along the way. I still have questions on how did they all get together? How did Vasa, who was trapped with Koschei, but Feyre's dad went and made a deal with him to get
Mhm.
her to be released. See, this is where things I question tremendously about Pharaoh's father. How did the Prince of Merchants, how is he so powerful that he could go
Yeah.
to a death god that's trapped on on that lake, that island on the
Yeah.
lake, and get her released?
Yeah. Like a mere mortal.
A mere mortal. This is why I still think that there is a possibility that this holds weight, that could Koshi be Nesta's father.
Ooh, shit. Nah.
There's
Uh,
something weird there. There's something weird because he would be like, "Well, you're fighting. This is our daughter. We're fighting for our daughter," because his main ship that he was on was the Nesta. That's the one he had the most problems with, was Nesta. Could it be possible that their mother, again, as we've said, we are leaning thinking that she could have possibly been a witch,
mhm.
not a mere mortal. Could
Right.
she have been, or escaped from Koshi and she was pregnant, and
Hmm.
then met up, with Farah and Elaine's dad there, Papa Archeron, and he could have been a kind of guy, and he didn't matter that she wasn't his child, and he raised her as his own. Because it'd be very unlikely that
Okay.
Elaine or Farah would be someone else's child, but Nesta, the oldest, it could be. And
Hmm.
she's very different than them. Then she's different than
Eh,
Elaine. She's different than
right?
Farah.
So you think she's a half sister?
I think she's gonna be a half sister, or it's possible that Tamlin's her father too. There's always that theory as well. But I have other theories with that too. But it's just interesting. There's a lot. It just doesn't make sense in my mind.
Yeah. Uh, the end of that book was there was a lot going on. So
Absolutely.
very emotional, very a lot of like left field things happening. So yeah, who knows what
It's
happened
interesting.
over there.
Now, just to remind everybody, Draken, remember he was with Miriam. He's from the original war, not the
Yeah.
one that was fought in the present day that we're reading. But he was a member of the winged seraphim race. They have blindingly white feathered wings, and they have an ancient power that's not, but it's not associated with the ones that come from Dawn Court. There's another race of winged, because remember the Bat Boys have, well, they're bat wings, so these are different. There's another winged race called the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Heather. It's Peregryns. Uh,
Give it a
try,
shot. I have no idea.
Peregrines. I don't know.
Oh,
It's
I like
some.
that. Oh,
Does it
that's very
sound like
good.
it? Peregrine?
Yeah, that sounded reasonable.
It's
Yeah.
probably completely wrong. It's something. I spelled it so you all can look it up. But they are from the Dawn Court. They have wings that are bird-like feathered wings. And Thesson, remember he's the leader of that court. Remember his lover is one of them. Do you remember that? Because he likes the men.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, gosh, that was also a great scene when they all get together, but
Oh,
there's a
absolutely.
lot of them, a lot of High Lords to remember
Oh
and
yeah.
all their lovers.
Absolutely. Now, and then also, now this was something else. Now, this was one other little thing that we were talking about, and then I found out about when I was finishing doing our little research. Remember, we were back again to talking about Koschei. Now, Koschei is on an island. He's bound to the island, and they make a statement that he has other women. They don't say men; they say women under his control. In in Silver Flames, it's heavily implied that the swans of the lake surrounding the island were actually cursed women or fey women that was holding captive, drawing a parallel to the classic fairy tale, Swan Lake or the
Mhm.
Slavic folklore of the Koschei, the Deathless. Well, we
Yeah,
don't know who these other women, these swans, are, but it's
right?
widely believed that these women are women that he's captured and cursed. So is it a giant leap that Feyre and all their mother couldn't have been one of these people and it escaped him? It's just very interesting because, one thing that uh, Chelsea and I had talked about, like why were they where they were? That, he was the prince of merchants. They could have lived anywhere they wanted to live,
Yeah,
but yet they chose right by the wall, right by the edge of it. Now
true.
we do know Koshi's over on the continent. That's where he's located. So she
Yeah.
got as far away from that area as she possibly could without going into the fairylands.
Yeah, because there's, like, a whole other area that we haven't really gotten to yet. So,
Absolutely.
like, more goes over there and explores and stuff like that, but we don't know what's really going on over there.
No.
So,
And the thing Chelsea and I realized, because we hadn't thought about it, the guy that is, remember we say the king of Hybern, we don't know his name.
yeah.
Because that's the island, that's the landmass that he is on, is
Uh,
Hybern. We just know
right,
he's the king of Hybern.
right.
So there's ties there that we think might go to Throne of Glass, I think. I think that's what Chelsea was saying because we had
Okay,
looked up different things about him and I can't remember the name. I'd have to look it up. We've talked about it in prior episode, but it's a brother of somebody that was from Throne of Glass, I believe. I'll have to look it up after. I'll tell you.
okay.
But isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I'm digging in my file system here, like, "Okay, who was that?
I
Because I
can't remember that
know
because see, I haven't read Throne of Glass, so that name didn't
Dorian's
is.
dad is a king, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, like, he had a
Did Dorian have a
brother.
brother?
No, but he had an uncle, right? So, like, the king's brother, his dad's brother,
Oh, okay.
and his mom is dead,
I'll have to look here real quick and see if I have it in my notes from the prior. I can't remember if her and I
and
talked about it the prior episode or when we talked about it, and I'm like, "That's interesting." because it
Yeah.
wasn't anything that I knew.
And would, what's his face be on the King of Hybern is maybe the cousin or the uncle, and
See, that's
then
the thing. I don't
Tog is
I'll
on
have
the
to
main
look it up after,
continent?
but yeah. So isn't that interesting? Because all the time we kept calling him King of Hybern, but we hadn't really thought about it. That's not his name, and we don't know his name.
Mhm.
It's interesting, isn't it? So now that's all our little tidbit stuff of things from the prior episode of stuff we didn't know.
Okay.
But we like to go over it, because like,
Yeah.
'cause, we get different messages
See
on
who
TikTok and stuff,
yeah.
and people do write us, but that is some interesting thoughts. So book base, grab your magical maps and your tinfoil theories. It's time to uncover the final layer of ACOTAR's darkest magic. Now we're gonna be talking now this is our honorable mentions and monsters. Now, the first one we're going to talk about is the adder. Is that how you pronounce it? The Attor?
Oh, that slimy
Attor.
thing?
The wing thing that's with
Slimy
it's
yeah,
the one that's with
the lizard thing that's with Amarantha, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, now these are the theories about it. Now, we know it's a shadowy assassin kind of thing. Now, they think it's possible that it has a Volg connection. Now, again, I have not read Throne of Glass, but I know you have.
Mhm.
Many readers believe that it is linked to the Valg demons from Throne of Glass. Its shadowy, insectal body and parasitic cruelty resembles the Valg princess. This theory suggests that Sarah planted one as a bridge between those two universes, hinting at a shared origin of dark magic. Do you think it's possible that they could be part of the Valg? Volg. Is it Volg or Valg?
I don't remember. I did
Well, we're
not do
going to go with it.
audiobooks on those. Yeah. But the only thing that again, like, I haven't read Throne of Glass in, I think, 2 years now, but the Volg, whatever they were, I remember them being something that, like, leeches on and takes over your mind. They weren't like a physical being. They
Yes,
were
yes.
like an essence in a sense that you would wear the ring and they would, like, take over your body. So,
Was it
I don't know if the adder
Wasn't it something
would
like a ring around their neck or something?
they had those too. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
'cause I
had to be
remember
like a physical thing
okay.
for it to possess you. It was a possession.
Interesting. Because
Yeah.
I because I remember Chelsea telling me about a little bit of it when we've been talking here, and I remember her saying something about, like, a call and it was a possession kinda thing. Ooh,
Mhm.
it's very creepy. Now, that's that theory with it. Now then there's a Daglin remnant. Now remember we were talking Daglin earlier. Now the Daglin were an ancient godlike beings that once ruled Prythian. They're saying that because of its grotesque form and its allegiance to Amarantha, could mark it as a survivor or a descendant of these beings, like they could possibly been doing experiments creating these things.
That I
Um,
believe.
Fans argue its existence proves the Daglin corruption still lingers in Prythian. So
Yeah.
there's that theory. Now, this one here, I don't know. I mean, it's possible because he is evil and he is a death god, so I think he could do this. They said he could also be an agent kind of going between like Amarantha, Hybern, Koschei, because they were all kind of in cahoots together, that he was secretly tied to Koschei, the Death Lord trapped at the lake. Like a shadow
Yeah.
assassin, role it fits with his penchant for manipulation, hidden servants. He could be a servant to him because we don't really know where all the adder goes. We
Yeah.
know it was doing whatever for the King of Hybern, but that doesn't mean that's the only one.
Mhm.
And that would also explain why the adder seemed more ancient than Amarantha's other minions and stuff that she had there,
Yeah.
because they weren't very nice. Now, the other thing, now this is one other possibility, is that it was an Illyrian experiment gone wrong. A smaller theory suggests that it was once an Illyrian warrior twisted by dark magic. Its wings, predatory instincts, echo Illyrian traits, but warped into a monstrosity. This makes a cautionary tale about unchecked power.
Well, as we know in the middle, there are a lot of lost creatures that were thought to have been dead, deceased, extinct, all those things.
Correct.
So maybe he is the last of his kind, or there's other ones deep down in the
It's
abyss
interesting.
somewhere.
But
Yeah.
it's weird. It's interesting. Now, the next weird honorable mention creature that was in the world of ACOTAR here is the Midgarden worm. Do you remember him?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if we know if it was a him or a her. Now, of course, that's the colossal worm-like fairy beast thing that Amarantha had under the mountain, the thing that chased Feyre around. It appears like serpentine, dragon-like with rows of teeth immersed with burrowing powers. Of course, Feyre's first trial, she had to survive against it, which she did by using her wits rather than her brute force.
Yeah.
It appears only, well, it appears only in A Court of Thorns and Roses, but they make references to it throughout the series. Now, the fan theories involving that is that it might be a Midgard link. Now, some fans speculate the worm's name, Midgard, is a
Mhm.
deliberate nod to Crescent City, Midgard.
Mhm.
Could it have been transported between worlds, or is this proof of hidden portals between Prythian and Midgard?
You have to
Interesting.
read Crescent City?
Well, I know there's something with it because Chelsea and I have talked about like
Yeah.
that there could be like under the mountain. There could be a lot of. I think there's a lot of things we don't know, and
Um,
I know at some point when I'm reading that Bryce meets up with them. I do know
mhm.
that from what Chelsea and I have been talking, but I don't know the whole context with it. I know she asked to see the Prince of Hell, I think is what Chelsea told me, and then all of a sudden she appeared before them. Um, so I don't know. So did Amarantha bring it from there to her under the mountain world?
Or are they just existent in all the world?
That's possible.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Because also in Crescent City, you see Bryce comes over and she's like, "Hey, we have those, we call them this." So there's a lot of, like,
Similarities.
similarities that they just call different,
Yes.
animals, different names, so
Now
tomato,
they s
tomato kinda thing.
Now then they said, of course, there's the Asteri involvement. If the worm came from Midgard, how did it cross without the Asteri noticing? This raises questions about ancient pathways and whether Amarantha had access to inner world travel. Now, this is something else they said now, because we were talking earlier about the prison. Could it have possibly been a prison guardian? Some speculate the worm
Mhm.
was once a guardian of the prison, repurposed or abandoned. I mean,
Maybe.
there's some scary things in the prison. That would be horrible
Yeah.
coming at you.
I was gonna say there's more ancient magic in the prison that sound and the way Cassian explained it was like there were things living in the walls that were like old ancient magic that would come to life and things like that. And we find the harp in the
Yeah.
mountain and the prison, and there's that demon that
Yep, there's that
she
guy,
has to fight. And so there's a lot of
Lanthus.
things in there.
I think if I remember right, last episode we talked about him. Lanthus was his name.
Yeah.
And he was an ancient being as well. He wasn't just like
And
he
he was
wasn't young
part of
like
the
them.
hunt. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now they said too, because it could be a subterranean lair, monstrous endurance fit the role of the creature meant to keep horrors contained. So I mean, unless it's something that's just maybe it was something that patrolled it. But this theory ties the worm to the sacred mountain palace triad, the prison, under the mountain, and Ramiel.
Mhm.
I mean, it can travel between all of them. It's an underground thing. It
Mhm.
tunnels. I don't know.
Yep.
It's interesting, but it's
Yeah,
weird.
and it eats a certain thing in Crescent City when you meet it again.
Mm,
It probably is like the cycle of life, and you need it to eradicate other
other things.
monsters, you know? Yeah.
Interesting. I'm excited to find it again.
Yeah.
Now, now the next one we're going to talk about is my favorite. I have
Okay.
him on my shelf. It's the surreal. The surreal when the moment the surreal dies. That made me cry. I was so sad and heartbroken that when that happened. But now
Yes.
these are the theories surrounding the surreal.
Okay.
Now, they said he's possibly Death's herald or a servant of fate. Many readers see the surreal as more than just a gossip-loving creature. It could be manifestation of fate itself, bound to reveal truths at pivotal moments. Its obsession with truth and its inability to lie makes it feel like a cosmic balance keeper. Now, they also said it could be possibly a fragment of Koschei or another death god. Some theorize the surreal is tied to Koschei, the Death Lord, trapped in the lake. Its skeletal, eerie appearance and cryptic knowledge could mark it as one of Koschei's agents or even a shard of his power that's roaming free. I, I'm not sure on that one.
When we first meet the Surreal, I don't, again,
I don't know.
pronunciation, sorry. I'm gonna call him the Surreal, like a cereal. Anyways, when you first meet him, he asks Lucian tells her how to catch them. So he's not the only one out there. So there are many more. Just she kind of kept catching the same one because he was intrigued with
Yes,
it. It was like a personal thing.
it liked her.
Um yeah,
It
but there
liked
are
her. It tried to tell
others
her.
because there's Lucian's tale of how to catch them. And so I don't know if he's connected to anything else. Does
Well,
that
the
make
way
sense?
Lucian described it, it seemed like the hardest thing in the entire world to catch one. But yet,
Yeah.
all Farah had to do was make a little snare and throw a chicken
Mhm.
cutlet there, and
Like
she
he
caught him.
wanted to come and meet her because
Yes,
he
he made it
like
very easy for her to catch him. Now, this is another thought, is it possibly foreshadowing of the Bone Carver and the Death Trio? The
yeah.
Surreal, the Bone Carver, and Bryaxis are often grouped together in fans' discussions as death-adjacent entities. Some
This
believe that they're different faces of the same primordial force, truth, death, and fear, woven into the world's fabric.
Mhm.
Now, then that's possible. I mean,
Mhm.
I still I just don't believe the bone carver and his sister Strega. They said they were killed. You know
Mhm.
what? I don't think death gods can be killed that easy. That's what they are. Death gods.
Yeah, but Hybern killed the one,
That was Strega, I believe.
but the Cauldron killed the other.
But did it kill their physical form and their
Right.
essence is still
That I
floating out
could
there?
that I could believe, and I could believe that it becomes like Amarin, and maybe their essence or their godlike being is now just in the ethereal, and it could fall out of
Yeah.
the rips in the portals and all
Well,
that stuff.
They said when Amryn fell through and she was in her original form, a lot of people believe that she is truly the angel of death. That
Mm,
is what Amryn is. Because they said
okay.
when she's in her other form, she has wings. And I think they said, for some reason, I'm thinking someone said there was a halo involved in it. So that kind of leans me into Crescent City because they do
Mhm,
have angels and stuff.
mhm. Yeah,
So I think she came because they have a rip. There's a lot there. I think as I read the next two books, I'll have even more thoughts.
yeah.
Now, the surreal and Throne of Glass connections. Now, this is the one I've heard many like different times.
Okay.
There's a multiverse link via Aelin's Fall. In the
Yes.
Kingdom of Ash, Aelin falls through multiple worlds, glimpsing places that fans believe include Prythian. This crossover fuels the idea that creatures like the surreal may have originated in Throne of Glass before drifting into Prythian. Is it or is it Irelia? Is that Erilea? Know what that is. I haven't read Throne of Glass. But then there's death adjacent beings. The surreal is often grouped with, again, the bone carver, Bryaxis. Fans compare them to Throne of Glass, Bald princes, and goddess or godlike entities, suggesting they're different manifestations of those, again, those primordial forces. Or he is possibly a forgotten gods of is this the place where they're at in Throne of Glass? Is it Irelia? Erilea?
Don't remember how to say it, but that sounds right.
Irelia? We're going to go with that because I don't know. If anybody knows the correct pronunciation, let us know. Some theorists argue that the Surreal could have been one of the forgotten gods and was banished and scattered. Its skeletal like rag wrapped form, obsession with truth, echoes eerie with ancient beings Alien had encountered. And then, of course,
Hmm.
also, it says in Throne of Glass, Aelin meets cryptic otherworld beings who provide knowledge at a cost. The surreal functions similarly in ACOTAR, leading fans to believe that she intentionally mirrored these archetypes in her series. Do you remember
I
Aelin
do
talking to anybody?
not
That
remember
could be
this.
wrong, because sometimes people put weird theories out on the internet.
Forgotten gods. Skill. What? Okay. And this is like through her like transition?
It says she meets
Her
them through cryptic otherworldly beings that provided her knowledge with a cost.
I do not remember that.
I don't know. 'Cause again, I haven't
Uh,
read it, so I don't have an answer.
I need to
But now
reread this.
but now isn't there somebody from Throne of Glass that liked capes? It was something in a cave, and someone has said that that is possibly that person is the surreal. It was somebody in Throne of Glass, and they're down in caves somewhere, and they wanted a cloak. But again, I haven't read it, so I don't know who they are. And
There's a
people
lot
have
of
said
caves
that's them.
everywhere. I mean, there's like Tower of Dawn has like Kale and what's her face, and they get
'Cause I
caught
think it was a woman, I
in the
think they said.
caverns, and they meet what's her face, the queen, and in the very first few books, there's this doorknob that she
Mhm.
talks to, like a door knocker,
Mm.
and I could see that being like a little bit like the surreal because the door knocker would tell her like certain things and
Oh,
she would
that's
have
interesting.
visions and stuff.
See, I have to
Yeah.
read that series. Maybe this coming year here. That'll be one of
Yeah.
my
I
plans so I
don't
can read Throne of
remember.
Glass.
I read ACOTAR and then TOG and then Crescent City. I found Crescent City to have more involved with ACOTAR than TOG did, but there are like very subtle things in TOG that are also Crescent City mentions things. So I'd
Mhm.
say Crescent City is the series that really like interconnects a lot of stuff
Well, there's because
with
they're saying
creatures and people.
that they're different timelines, but they're saying that Crescent City, I think, and ACOTAR are in the same time, and Throne of Glass was the past. I can't remember. We were talking about a couple
Oh,
episodes ago
yeah,
because it's not,
good.
but they're not like I always was thinking like maybe Throne of Glass was the past. I can't remember now because Chelsea and I were talking about it, and she was saying the timeline of when these worlds are supposed to be
Yeah. The
together.
only thing is when she does do that fall in her ascension,
Yeah,
thing that she has to do, she falls through and it's during fell, and she sees Reese and Farah. So,
I know
like
Reese.
that
I know Farrah's pregnant in one of it. I do know that when in her fall because she sees her. They're up on the mountain there, and they're standing, and she sees him and sees a very pregnant Farah.
I don't remember
But
that one.
is that when she was pregnant with Nyx? Is it another child? We don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much. There's so much we don't know, and we have
Oh my god.
the theories. It's just you ever see that little meme? It's the guy from It's Always
Like
Sunny
with
in
the board.
Philadelphia, the board, and he has
Yeah.
all the lines. It's like
Seriously though, I mean,
there's a lot of
and
theories.
what a great series to you know, have like all these like underlying things that an author, like that's like smart on her part to like put these things in there so that
Oh
she could
yeah.
just like kind of pull a little thread and be like, all right, let's connect that now. And she probably was writing a lot of this stuff and was not thinking about like all these other things that have been happening.
Oh
They
yeah.
just like have occurred.
I
So, I mean, she's making it up too.
I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping book 6 does come out this year or this coming year here. I'm
Yeah.
really hoping for it since she said all the final edits are done, so or whatever, how many drafts or whatever they have to do. I'm hoping like maybe this spring or maybe over the summer it'll release. Maybe it'll come out because didn't when ACOTAR first came out, wasn't it the 5th of May was the first time it was the first book came out. So maybe it'll fall in that window.
Yeah. People were hoping for some news this year and it never came. So,
Hey, at least we know that she was writing it. I mean, we got
yeah.
that. Um,
Yeah. We did get a little
so
snippet.
but hopefully we'll get a little bit more detail. I'm very excited for it. if you can tell. I'm excited. But now we're gonna talk a little bit deeper on our death gods. Now we had
Okay.
mentioned the Bone Carver just a little bit there. Now, of course, we know he carves truths and prophecies into bone. That's creepy.
Mhm.
That's
He's my
creepy.
favorite, though.
He's intriguing, I have to say the
Yeah.
nonetheless there about that. But he appears in the form to reveal hidden truths or foreshadow death. So now when he appeared to Feyre, there's the argument, was she did he appear as truly as Nyx? But the thing that makes me question that is because he didn't have wings and he foresees the future and everything. So if he foresaw Nyx, he would know Nyx
Mhm.
has it. But Chelsea had brought up the statement there. What if he's like Rhysand that he can make them disappear? I said, well, that's possible. But is it possible that that isn't Nyx at all? Is it possibly another child that they have? Or is it
Mhm.
possible that Rhysand has a child elsewhere? I mean, I know the Fae, it takes a long time for them to even conceive a child, but Rhys keeps secrets from Feyre a lot. Do you know what I mean?
I was thinking, like, he had a sister, but I think she was really young when she died.
She was young when
So,
she died. Yes.
yeah, you would probably know if she was pregnant or not, but
Yes. I was, unless,
yeah, I mean,
now, of course, they said that their heads went down. Like when it happened, Tamlin's brothers or whatever, they killed his mother and his sister at the Illyrian camp. They cut their heads off and sent their heads down the river, and they cut
and
their
kept their
wings
wings.
off and kept
Mhm.
their wings. I mean, that is if that was truly that, because did Rhysand and his father, did they see the heads, or were they just told that their heads were there? Because there's
Yeah,
something weird
it's true.
with Tamlin, because Tamlin had no part of this, because he was never meant to be a High Lord. He was the youngest of 3 brothers. He had no part of it. So, why is it in Springcourt? Why is there that pool of moonlight? That
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. Why is that there? That's a piece of the night court kind of feel. So why is that there? If they were having all this and they killed each other, because we know that Rhysand's father killed Tamlin's mother and his father.
mhm,
And that's when they both ended up getting their powers at the same time because
right.
their dads were both killed. So but still there's something weird there that none of us know. But now they're saying with him, now this back to the Bone Carver. Now he
Okay.
appear okay, now it said that of course he reveals hidden truths or foreshadow death. He chooses a form to unsettle whoever he's talking to because I think he likes to mess with people, either forcing them into a confrontation with mortality or whatnot. Now, we do know he is one of the primordial beings older than the cauldron shaping the world. He was imprisoned in the prison off the Night Court's coast before the courts existed. So he's considered ancient even by Amryn, which Amryn is, she's quite old. So she considers the bone carver ancient, and
Yeah.
we think she's ancient. Uh, So now, but this echoes the gods of truth in the throne of glass, they said. I don't know who that is. Do you remember that person?
God of truth?
Hmm. Says echoes the god of truth and throne of glass. Again,
No.
I didn't read it, so I don't know. But they said now the mirror mystic figures, like in the Greek, like the fates or Norse norm, I guess
Mhm.
it's Norns, they are who weave destinies and foretell death. So maybe that's where his origins is coming from, like where she found him. Fan theories say that the boy form he was at foreshadowed either Nyx or represents Rhysand's hidden guilt. See, that's where I'm thinking. Could it be possible that Rhysand has another child?
Or I'm gonna throw this out.
Oh,
So
okay.
he carves people's deaths, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
into the bones.
Yes,
Nyx almost dies, right? So what
correct.
if he's showing her his death?
Mm,
Like, that is
that's interesting.
her, yeah, like her son's death.
I mean, it's
And
very
she
possible.
almost dies too. So, like,
And
that is her death, is the child.
that's a good theory. Interesting. I th so do we think that it truly was Nyx? That's who it was? Or do we think it is possible, though, that it could be another son?
I don't know, like, I think it was just an image that he made up of, like, her and Reese.
You don't think he can see the future?
Or what
The
if
bone
it's like
carver?
I think
Like an
when
oracle
even
kinda
when
person?
no, I don't think so. I think all he can see is death, right? Like, that's what he carves into the bones is
Yes.
someone's death. So he knows how these people die. So I think he was saying like, "Nyx is your death. Here is
Oh,
your death."
now going with that thought,
But
but
uh-huh.
see, he wasn't a baby. He was appearing as a boy, a young man, probably like 8 or something like that. What if it's possible that Nyx or another son of theirs isn't sweet and innocent, on the good side? What if it's one and he wants power and wants to grab that power from Rhysand, and that is going to be their death because he wants to take them out. I'm not saying as a child, but you never know because they're
Maybe.
very brutal in
Yeah.
that world.
Uh-huh. What if it's Rune? Rune
Rune.
Dannon. What if it's Rune? He has purple eyes
Well,
and
people
black
were very
hair.
mad at us about that because they always
It
say
can't be
purple.
him.
It's blue. They said he
So,
has
well,
blue eyes,
violet, yeah, bluish
but
violet,
but
but
like
the same eyes as Reese.
But Chelsea made the point. She's like, "Remember, roses are red, violets are blue. So even if someone's eyes are in a purple shade, it is the shade of blue." But people got mad at us on TikTok about that. They were very
I
upset.
think Rune and Reese are related.
That is very possible. I like Rune Dannon. I do like him.
Mhm. I
I've
think
only gotten to meet him in the first book, but I like
him
I like
and
him.
his lady friend are my favorite.
I haven't met a
Uh,
lady friend yet, so I'm excited
yeah.
to see what happens there. But now the other thing is again, is the bone carver, is he truly dead or is his essence still lingering? Is it tied to bone and prophecy? But also could that, be a bridge between ACOTAR and Throne of Glass between the death gods?
Well, who is going to now record death?
So that's he's a death god. I just don't think
Right. So someone has to take
he's
over or he's got to
he's
be
gone.
somewhere. He's got to record everyone's death.
I think
He's like
whenever they
Hades.
killed that form that he was in, I think his energy went somewhere else, or it's still lingering around. Because remember, Bryaxis is somewhere. We still don't know about him, but we'll get to him in a minute. Now, we're going to talk about the Weaver now, Strega.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I said this to Chelsea the last time. Whenever, like, my grandma was Italian, and she would always call us all Stregas.
Mhm.
That's what she calls, which in
Mhm.
Italian that means witch.
Mhm.
So, but
Yes.
that's her name in here, the Weaver, Strega. Now, of course, she spins webs of fate, collects enchanted objects. Remember how she had all those precious things all in her creepy house that was made of hair? Do you remember the roof was made out of people's hair?
Right. Yeah. And the body fat in the chimney. Yes, I
Yes.
remember this.
Oh, yes. So so she's like a predator feeding on flesh and memory. Now, she was blind, but she was all-seeing, sensing through scent and
Mm,
magic. Now, her age and origin, they said she's primordial, predating the high fae in the courts. She was imprisoned in the mortal realm. They put her in that cottage that's creepy, with
yeah.
her magical artifacts, and of course, Feyre barely escapes her lair when she was retrieving her engagement ring. Reese, that wasn't very nice.
Well, his mom puts it there
Did his mom actually put it there? If
or
she
made a deal with the lady. Isn't that how she gets all of her little objects? I thought it was because you strike a bargain with her.
I don't know, we'll have to look that up. I don't know. That's interesting, but she has all kinds of magical things. Still,
Huh?
Reese doesn't go and help her, he doesn't tell her what she's looking for,
Can't. Can't.
and she goes in and gets the ring and almost dies by Strega killing her. Um, that's weird, but still, again, this is where I lean into Reese. We love Reese, he's very loving to Feyre, but he puts her in some very dangerous
Yeah.
predicaments,
There's a
and
lot of
he
stuff
and
that
he doesn't tell
he
her the
connects
truth,
that you're like, "What?"
and he does not tell her the truth on a lot of things. Remember, they
Uh,
had a whole argument, and she's like, "You can't hide things from me." She hid the fact that or he hid the fact that what was gonna happen when she went to go get that ring. He hid the fact, when she was pregnant with Nyx, he didn't tell her that she was probably gonna die. He
Huh.
didn't, he keeps a lot of secrets, and
Yeah.
I think some of his secrets are down in the Court of Nightmares, kinda contained and put away. That's why, again, if he does have another child, because 'cause we're thinking of a child that he would have like a little boy, but he's old. You know what I mean? He could have a child that would be a grown adult. Could they be
Mhm.
hidden down in the Court of Nightmares? And that's a perfect place to put someone that you don't wanna have interaction with because Feyre's not gonna go down there because it reminds her too much of being under the mountain, and she doesn't
Huh.
like going down there. She's not gonna go down there questioning things and whatnot. So, even though I love Reese, he he's not on the up and up all the time for me. I think there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but let's see. Now, this is the other thing. Now they're saying that now Strega might be echoes hmm, it's the Strigoi. It's a Romanian vampire witches. I guess that's where the name comes from. But they're saying that her spider-like traits links her to the Arachne.
Huh.
Arachne? Maybe it's Arachne. It's a Greek weaver cursed into a spider. But fan
Mhm.
theories believe that she is possible a world walker from Throne of Glass. She
Mhm.
could be Maeve or someone
Mhm.
like
That's who I
Maeve,
was thinking of. Couldn't remember her
spider-like
name.
appearance,
Mhm.
in the name kinda echoes. She's possibly a Valg demon, foreshadowing larger threats,
Okay.
and of course, but they said that Hybern, that's the one that he snapped her neck, but many argue she cannot be killed so easily. Her essence is woven into fate itself. Again, I just unless Sarah specifically says they're dead, they're truly long gone,
Mhm.
I just can't imagine a death god. Just, "Oh,
Yeah.
he snapped her neck. That was it? That's all it took
Yeah.
to kill her?" It just seems too easy.
Mhm.
Alright, now the next
Yeah.
one we're gonna talk about is Bryaxis, the one that scares my poor Cassian to death.
I know.
I would love to see Bryaxis just explain. Does Bryaxis appear to whatever? Because Ferris not afraid of him.
But she never really looks at it. It just talks to her in the dark.
I guess maybe she just never truly seen its
Yeah.
true form.
Remember it, like, slithers around and it, like, whispers to her.
Well, they say it's an entity of pure fear. Shape
Mm.
shifts into what terrifies the viewer, whoever's looking at it the most. It thrives on terror, not sport. It's formless, no, knowledgeable. It appears like as shadows with eyes. Does it have like a whole bunch of eyes? Is it like a shadow with a bunch of glowy eyes all over it? I would like to see her true explanation of what but again,
Yeah.
remember Bryaxis is running around out in the world, so we might the next book, we might get a much better description of him.
Okay.
But we do believe, though, it's primordial, older than Koschei.
Yeah.
It was imprisoned beneath the House of Wind, bound by ancient spells, and the priestess tend to the pit where it resides. So they're not afraid of Bryaxis.
Mm.
They seem they're like, "Mm," you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like, they
But
know
now
it's down there.
But, the thing that's weird about it, and all it asked, like, when it did its bargain with Feyre and stuff, is that it just wanted a window to be able to see outside.
Mhm.
Is it really that big and scary that if all it asked for was a
Yeah.
window to be able to see the sky?
And all it does is, like, eat fear, like, messes with your mind.
Well, it scares Cassian to death all the time. When it has
Yeah.
seen it twice, he's run into it, and he was terrified of
Yeah.
it, and I don't think a lot scares Cassian.
I don't know it's magic. I don't remember its, like, true magic and what it does besides
I don't know.
capture people in darkness and their fear, but
But now
I don't know.
people theorize that it's possibly, again, a Valg demon from Throne of Glass. It may befriend Elaine, people are thinking, longing for companionship rather than destruction. Because she's a seer and stuff. Because I remember when she was down there, because it didn't mess with her or anything. It's also possibly the spirit of the House of Wind itself.
Oh.
And some speculate
Hmm.
that Bryaxis is the one spying for more, unseen in the shadows.
Oh, that okay. I always wondered, like, what could that be? That's not good.
But when she's up at her estate, and remember she's with her horses and stuff, and then there's this
Mhm.
shadowy thing. She could
Mhm.
see it the what is it Bryaxis?
Could be.
Why would he be spying on more? More? I love more. but there's something much deeper underlying because I want Sarah to explain to me what this power of truth is. Is it the
Yeah,
power to withhold the truth that people can't speak the truth, or is it that it draws the truth out of someone? Because
that's what I figured it was.
when Eris is talking about like everything that happened between them, he tells
Oh,
Cassian, "You need to talk to her." It's like he said, you know, he said that's not for me to say. It's you have to talk to her. Is it that
mhm.
he's bound by something, her power of truth, that he can't speak the truth of what truly happened to her that day, and she's not allowing it?
He might not be or he might be bound by magic, or it's
It's
uh,
weird.
like a respect thing maybe of, like, I'm
I
not
don't know.
gonna talk about it and disrespect her? I don't know.
I don't know. And there's something, like they'll say like Azrael is in love with Moore. He's loved her for 500 years, they said.
Mm.
But
He knows that
I don't
she's gay though, so
I don't think he knows. Only Feyre knows that. Well, no,
oh, yeah,
only Feyre knows.
that's right.
But now there's a difference. Like his shadows, they come alert when it's around Moore. But when he's around Gwen, they sing. So if
Mhm.
he was truly in love with Moore, wouldn't his shadows sing and be happy? That's what makes me think
Yeah.
that Gwen is going to be his person.
Yeah.
And if you go back several episodes, you can get into our deep dive theories of who Gwen is and who her parents are. But that would be very interesting if she did get with Azrael. I'm not team Elaine for him. Elaine,
I'm
she needs to
not
shut up and go
either.
with. She needs to go with poor Lucian. Lucian,
She's already got that set up for her, like, unless we got a love triangle going on, which I love, but I think it'll be her and Lucian.
I
I
have
think
theories with
Lucian will
what's
come
going to
out of
happen.
the works and do something heroic and win her.
I think they're gonna end up taking over the court that doesn't exist. It's
Mm,
either
yeah,
that one
you're right,
or
because
or,
he's a lost prince in a
oh, yeah,
sense
well, his father is
of
Helion, because that's who his
yeah,
biological
not
father is, and
burn
then there's
or
Baron,
whatever, Baron.
but see, there's something that Sarah had made mention of a blood duel. It's a thing of Autumn Court. So maybe Baron and Helion will fight in a blood duel, and if Helion dies, we'll say, then Lucian would become the High Lord of that court. Do you know what I'm saying? It's interesting.
They
I don't know. So that's that theory. So, but
okay.
now the next one we're going to talk about is Koschei. Now we have talked a lot about Koschei, but we know he's primordial. We know he's tens of thousands of years old. He's ancient, but
Mhm.
he's not imprisoned. He's just bound to that lake on the continent.
Yeah, kinda like
S-
Bryaxis and
He's bound.
yeah,
But that, I mean, there's such a powerful thing. I just wonder in my mind, who bound them there? See, I have
yeah,
questions. We don't know enough about him yet. But he's described as the shadow of death, insidious, and corrupting. Now, the mythological parallels based on Koschei the Deathless, that's a Slavic folklore, whose soul is hidden in nested objects. Do you remember when Elaine talks about there's a black box? She can see a black box. It's when she's in her stupor, when she's saying all
uh-huh,
kinds of weird things. She talks about this black box. They
okay,
think that that's possibly that might contain his soul because he's trapped there and it's not in the same place.
like Pirates of the Caribbean, like The Dutchman.
It's interesting. Now, but of course, they also
Uh,
said he's possibly a Vald King or an Asteri. He's pretty much most people think that he's going to be the main villain of the upcoming book, and I
I could
agree with
see
that
that, yeah.
because we saw
Um,
just a little bit about him in Silver Flames.
well, you said, uh, who bound him there? It
He's
was it
bound to it.
was the Bone Carver and, the Weaver bound him there. I think he says that. There's a something
His
that
brother and
says
sister did.
yeah, and that's his brother and sister are the
Yes.
other death gods. So, he was bound there by them, so if they died, is he free? Does that magic unbind?
That's interesting. I'll have to look that up and see if it says that. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Mm,
So once they were gone, but they said he's still at the lake though in Silver Flames, but he could be just hanging out there, not tipping his
yeah,
hand. You know what I mean? Again, still, how did Papa Archeron make that,
But how do we
deal
know
with
he's
him?
still there? Vasa
Yeah.
hasn't, like, gone back.
No, and I think that's weird too, because he released her for a set amount of time.
She
Like,
made a deal, didn't she? Or the dad made a deal.
the dad made a deal to get her released to him
Yeah.
helping with this. And I'm like, "But why is Koschei so willing to let her go and let her help them?" See, I think there's more to it, but we know he was working with, is it Brielle? That was the queen, one of the mortal queens, the
Oh,
one that became the withered crone. He was working with her. We know that. So is he playing both sides kind of deal?
yeah. Might be trying to
He's doing
take
something.
out different people, take over.
I find him interesting. Those, but like they said, they think he's also possibly connected to the Cauldron magic, and he could be something with sleeper prophecies that we don't even know about yet. Now that takes us into the Cauldron. Now the Cauldron, now we know, is a source of transformation, creation, and power. It gave Elaine her visions, being able to be a seer. Nesta, the Force, to take power. Now it's said it is shaped by the world itself. That is where the Cauldron, it just, I guess, appeared when the world was created. The
Mhm.
Cauldron existed.
Mhm.
Um, it's possibly older than the primordials. So that would be
Mhm.
older than Koschei, older than all the death
Yeah.
gods. It's the relic of creation. Now, they said it was hidden at the bottom of a frozen lake in Lapland. That's where it was. Remember, and
Okay.
it was all separated into pieces. It
Right.
echoes the Celtic cauldron of rebirth and the Norse well of Urd. Is it Urd?
Uh,
URD?
Erd.
Urd?
Yeah. Erd.
But they think it has a consciousness of its own. So it's sentient, so it knows exactly what it's doing. It responds differently to emotions. It's possibly tainted by Dagon from Throne of Glass.
Okay.
It's possible, and it may have been corrupted mating balance because, like they were
Cool.
saying, when all that stuff was happening, when Elaine came out of the cauldron, maybe it is centered to Lucian, but
Uh,
it was something else because they said Azrael. Remember, he had been shot with an ash arrow, so maybe it took his magic and it couldn't pick him up anymore. That's why it linked her with Lucian.
a good
But it
theory.
also but it also may be the cauldron itself might be linked to Koshi's immortality or the dread trove. Because
Yeah.
remember, there's 4 dread trove items. Now we know there's 3,
Yeah.
but there's a 4th one. Now, the dread trove, now that's a repository of dark magic artifacts. Remember, there's the mask, the harp, and the crown. And then they are saying, remember when Nesta was in the prison, she could see something, but it just like wouldn't come out of the shadows. Some people
Mhm.
say it's the horn from Crescent City.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. So they're saying it's possibly that the dead trove is linked, or it was possibly forged by the primordials or the Dagon race, designed to siphon magic from Prythian's land and people,
Hmm.
because it's pulling the power. Because remember, it's a blight. Um, the mythological parallels, it echoes the Hallows of Uthorian myth. It's Authurian. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's sacred relics of power. Fans theorize, like I said, that it could possibly be Luna's horn,
Mhm.
explaining Bryce's world walking abilities. The
Yeah.
horn's bone like and nature ties it to the death god's relics, because remember the Bone Carver? He carves
Yeah.
things into bone. This was made of bone. Or this is possibly created by the Dagon to siphon just all Prythian's magic.
Interesting.
And the
Kinda
one
like
thing that
the Astari and their battery that they create.
Now, the other thing, now we talked about this too. This is with Farah. It's the Ouroboros. Do you remember the Ouroboros? That's that ancient mirror. Now, they believe that it's a mirror of eternity, self reflection, and transformation. Now, it's located in Hume City. Most who gaze into it are destroyed. Farah faces it in Akawar to prove herself worthy, but they believe that it's a primordial artifact because we know it's been in Moore's family for 1,000 years. So that predates Moore. So where did it come from?
Yeah.
But they said it's named after a serpent eating its tail, the symbol of eternity. Now, the mythological parallels is that it's a mirrors an I can't say it. Alchemical. Why can't I say that word today? Do you know what I'm saying? Am I saying it right?
Like alchemical?
It's like it's alchemal. Well, we'll go
Yeah,
with
like
it. But
alchemy?
alchemy,
Alchem
yeah.
Yeah.
But Ouroboros, which is the cycle of life, rebirth. But fans theorize that this could foreshadow Pharaoh's role as a breaker or a remaker, because she saw herself in that beast form. Has she
Mhm.
ever transitioned herself into that full beast form?
I think so.
But she saw herself as it.
Yeah.
Um, but it may be linked to world walking magic, bridging the realms, but it
Mhm.
also could serve as a test of worthiness, and it may also imprison hidden truths. Because remember, war is her power is of truth. Maybe it
Mm,
has something to do with her since it's in her family. I don't know. So how could
interesting.
all these dark artifacts shift the power dynamics among the High Lords and the Night Court players?
Ooh.
Because I mean, think
Well,
if they all could get a hold of a lot of these things.
yeah. I think there's a lot of artifacts that they probably have that they don't know are ancient magical things too. Or, like Tarquin has his vaults, like plural
Yes.
vaults of things. So,
Wait, who knows what's all in there?
yeah, there's probably some water, something uh, that does something with his court. Who knows? But the big ones like the Trove and stuff like that, I could see them all going to war over who
Could have that
handles
power.
those. Yeah.
Remember
Same with the Cauldron.
they took them all and they have it in that room. Remember Helion does all his
Yeah.
the stuff on it? But I mean, I could see Baron trying to come after it. Tamlin's lost his mind. I mean, could he come after it? I mean, there's and we don't see a whole lot about the other High Lords because they really
Yeah.
haven't showed a lot of what their intentions are or really truly what they're like.
Mhm.
And what was it? We were talking about it's the Winter Court. I can't remember what the guy is that's there. His name begins with a K. I
Yeah.
can't
I
remember. It's the
know who
Winter
you're
Court
talking
guy
about, but yeah, I don't know his name.
because they talk about another being that's up there, remember, and that person killed all the children
Mhm.
because it wasn't Reese, because it was something that there was a person that was like him, or that Dimitri or whatever, and they said that they went and they killed all the children. And Chelsea and I wonder, who is that? Or
Yeah.
Damati, is that what it is? Is that the right word? Because it was the Hybern's twins, his niece and nephew, they were Damati, but I don't think this was them that was up there.
Uh,
This was a different Damati. So again, I think there's a lot of stuff that you and I and all of us collectively don't know. Um, do you
yeah.
think do you think the Dread Trove or the Cauldron could be manipulating the events that are happening without the Fae realizing it? Because
Like, by without being wielded by the
a
the Fae?
person, because the
No.
Cauldron is sentient. It knows it was just in separate pieces,
Yeah.
but it's all back together now.
I
I
don't
don't think they
know.
took it apart.
But the Cauldron also had, like, magic spell books and stuff to utilize it, right? Like, they couldn't just use it. You had to have, like, the specific wordings
Well, they
and
had the Book of Breathings. They had that, and I think that did something with the Cauldron. And then Hybern had his own spell book. That was his own separate thing. That's the thing that Amarantha stole. But then they said, "Oh, she didn't really steal it. They were just testing to see what she was testing things for
right,
Hybern."
right.
So he had his own thing. But the Book of Breathings, remember they had to put the two pieces together,
Yeah,
and that did something. Maybe that helps control the
right. So
Cauldron.
I don't think it could just do things. I don't
It's
think any of
interesting.
it can just, like, do things. It probably, like, omits, like, a essence of power so others can feel that and find it to be used, but I don't think that it just is,
Well,
like,
if it
seeking out magical things into the
well,
fates.
why did they break it into 3 separate pieces then, if it was just fine just sitting there by itself? If they thought that, why didn't they just sink it at the bottom of the lake in just one
Right?
piece?
So
Why did they have it separated?
I thought that was because of the whole, like, no one can have this, so let's break it apart and
Mm,
put it all scatter it around so no one can use it and no one could be like, "I have it," you can't have it. Does
At
that
the
make
end
sense?
of it does make sense. Now, at the end of
Okay.
Silver Flames, is it still, or
I
is it,
thought they
or
break it
Aqua
apart
War?
again.
Did they break it apart again, or is it
I
still
think they
together?
did. Yeah.
Because Amarin came out of it. Remember, everybody thought Amarin was going to be dead. And that was an
Uh-huh.
Aqua War, and she came out, and she was just
She's different.
different. She no longer drank blood.
Mm,
Remember? Because then she
she's
was trying
more
to eat food,
human. Yeah, or
and she
fey.
was not happy about it. Because before
Yeah.
that, she didn't eat food. She only drank blood. Like, what is she that she's only drinking blood? Do you know what I mean? There's
Yep.
something there. There's
I'm
something.
trying to
I
think
think
if
we're going to find out more about Amarin possibly in this next book as well,
yeah.
because she's a big question mark. Do I think she is going to be the one to betray everybody? I do not think so. I think she knows how to guide Rhysand for power, but the more and more we talk, I really think it's either going to be Elaine or it's going to be more. And I think it's going to be something that we don't see coming.
Yeah.
And
Or
then they're going to
Lucian.
have to redeem themselves. Tamlin, I think it's very possible he might redeem himself, but
He's
right now
all oh, yeah.
he's
I was
running
gonna say, he
around right.
already put himself in the under the bus there, but,
Well, he's
um,
he's running around in full beast mode right now.
yeah, I
Um,
think Amarin doesn't make any sense because she could've with the spell book. Remember, like, there's that whole scene where you're like,
yes,
"No, she didn't." Like, you think that she's gonna undo things and kill Farah and stuff like that, so she could have done that. She's
it's
the only one that
interesting.
could read that book and conduct the spells and stuff.
And remember, she couldn't remember, like, she couldn't remember everything that was in the Book of Breath things, remember? And
Yeah.
she had so much knowledge because she's so ancient that she had forgotten things, and she had to relearn and figure out a lot of this stuff. And
Yeah.
remember when Nesta see, this is where Nesta remember they were saying, like, the dead trove or the death trove, it's like calls to like. The
Mhm.
cauldron called to her and everything. See, this is even though I know she took extra power from the cauldron itself, but I don't think that was what they were saying, like calls to like. I think there's something else more to Nesta than just her just taking that little extra piece of power from the cauldron. That's why I think we're going to find out there's something to do with witches. I think there's something to do with Koschei. I mean, if think about it, if Koschei is her father, we'll just say if this is true, that would be, she would be a like calling to like. You know what I mean? All that power. Because I just don't think that she's mortal. I just don't think so, and I think the cauldron woke up. Now, Chelsea and I did talk about this. What if it's possible that Feyre, Elaine, and Nesta, if their mom was a witch, what if she bound their powers? If you ever watched the TV show Charmed, they were all
Mhm.
bound, didn't know they were witches until the
Mhm.
grandmother's death. So
Right.
maybe when the mom died, and they just didn't know because it hadn't awoken in them, but the cauldron woke it up. And of course, Feyre went through her own experiences.
Right.
Now, what fan theories are most convincing to you about this, about any of these that we talked about? Which one seems to stand out to you?
Wow, we talked about a lot, but,
We did.
I don't know. Now my head's, like, reeling about, like, who Nesta is with the cauldron. Sorry. My brain is not moving
But I
on
mean,
from that.
but isn't that an
Um,
interesting point though? Because she's
well,
different. Elaine
I
went
think
in the cauldron, but
yeah.
she's different.
So I think she came out and she is, like, the mother, like, maybe she kind of becomes Cauldron herself, if that makes sense?
What did they say? Like when Nesta, remember when she was on the steps of the House of Wind? Remember, and she falls and her nails scrape and they spark. That's not normal. So that's what. Still, it makes me think. What was it? They think the mom is it Iron Tooth witches? Is that
Mhm,
what
yeah,
they're
I was gonna
thinking the
say, is
mom is?
that a reference to the witches in Tog?
Because
Because they
remember,
have nails like that.
Farrah's mom's bed was made of what is it? Was it ironwood? Is that the thing? Whatever, because there's that, and then when you read Crescent City, the desk that Bryce sits at the antiquities place, her desk is made of the same wood.
Mm.
I mocked that in my book when I was reading. I'm like,
Nice.
interesting theory. So this
Yeah.
is why I think, and then they're saying that more could be, is it Koshin? Koshin or something, witch?
Okay.
Because they said she favors the color red. I guess that's their thing, is red.
Uh-huh.
And her power didn't come in until she first bled the first time as becoming a woman.
Hmm.
And they said that is the same thing that happened to those particular witches.
Have you met the witches in Crescent City yet?
Um, I
Like
met the queen.
Hypaxia?
I met the queen because
Hypaxia?
she in the first book, she's posing as a doc. Well, she does medical things, but she's
Yeah.
there. That's the one I met,
Okay.
and she has
She mentioned
conversations.
something about witches disappearing.
Mm, I don't remember that. Maybe that's in the
Mhm.
next book. I'll have to pay
Yeah.
attention for that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Mark
I
that down
I
about
love.
what she says about that.
All right, I'll mark it down because I
Yeah.
annotate all through the book as I
Yeah.
go. If I find things that make me go,
She talks about her clan and how they got here, or like their origins in a sense, and how there's like very few of them and stuff. So,
well, it's interesting because as
yeah.
I'm reading Crescent City and they're talking about a rip, there's a rip in the world, and they have that going on. Then there's the rip in the world that we know Amryn fell through. So I think I believe Amryn came from Crescent City World. At least at this moment in my reads, that's what I think. I
Yeah.
think Amryn came from Crescent City from I'm not saying the timeline right now of when you're reading Bryce, the past, the 500 years or
Mhm.
whatever it was,
Right.
but I think but she came from those kind of people. Or whatever. But I don't think Amryn was just only been we know Amryn's been in Prythian much longer than that 500 year when that rip, but who knows how many times that rip has occurred.
Mhm.
Do you know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm very excited to continue on with that particular series to see what
Yeah.
my
I feel like
thoughts and stuff.
Crescent City gives you a lot to think on.
And then
It connects a lot.
she's gonna do a 4th book in Crescent City, but
Mhm.
like, what I don't know, you would probably agree with Chelsea. Chelsea had said that truly the first 3 books here, it kinda wraps up the whole Bryce and Hunt story at the end. So
Right.
maybe the next one will go on to another character that might be interesting.
I think it might be Hypaxia? Hypaxia,
Yeah,
I think is her name.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I
Oh,
could see it going that way.
all right, book babes. We need your takes. Who do you think is pulling the strings in Prythian? Are the death gods really gone, or are they lurking in the shadows? Could the cauldron, the dread trove, have its own agenda? Slide into our DMs or tag us at 2girls1TBR on Instagram and on TikTok, and we'll discuss your theories on the next ACOTAR mini episode. But that's our no, this is not our grand finale. I don't know why that's written there. But the next episode that we will be talking, I believe we're going to be talking the High Lords will be the next episode. But I don't think
Fun.
that will be until after the first of the year. So this is our last ACOTAR miniseries
Of the
episode
year.
of the year. Mhm.
Very fun. Well, thanks for having me today on the mini series. It's fun getting my brain going again on these theories.
It's interesting once you start
Yeah.
digging and stuff. It's very
It's
interesting.
easy to spiral into things, and I love hearing other people's takes on things and reminding you of, like, things that, could pinpoint this and connections, and because then it gets your brain going, and then you go, "Well, what if he
Well, and
was
also
like the bone
remember,
carver was showing her death?" You
well,
know?
now, and everybody also remember, again, these are theories that we have found out on the internet. This does not necessarily mean they are our theories,
Yeah,
but these are
just
things that people are saying.
putting things out
But
there.
we're just it's interesting what people think.
Yeah.
But like today we explored the honorable mentions, the worm and all that kind of stuff, the terrifying monsters and the death gods, and shared all the fan theories that squeezed them in.
Yeah. So, I'll see you guys in the next main episode. Um,
Oh, yes, because 'cause
but
we'll be doing our favorite things next. That is our next episode, our gift guide, so I hope you all enjoy that with Heather and I. But, uh but now tag us again at 2girls1TBR, slide into our DMs if you have any theories, on the Surreal, the Bone Carver, Koschei, any of the dark secrets that you have uncovered. We want to hear your thoughts. But subscribe to us. We're everywhere. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, Pandora. Also, you can listen to us on YouTube, and you can actually watch us on YouTube, which is a whole lot of fun. And then leave
My
us a
facial
review.
expressions. My facial
That's always
expressions
the fun part.
are fun.
That's that's always the fun part, but also leave us a review and, so we can keep the chaos coming. But until next time, keep your books filthy and your TBR unhinged. Good night, book babes.
Night.
Bye.